All right, everyone, I am excited to introduce my next two guests, returning guests, friends, officially now friends, great friends of the podcast. We have Dean Butler, author of Prairie Man, My Little House Life and Beyond. And of course, his partner in crime, Alison Arngrim, author of Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, How I Survived Nellie, Oleson, and Learned to Love Being Hated. Both Little House on the Prairie royalty, of course. We're here to talk about Little House Homecoming, a new documentary. So much goodness. Welcome back to the show, Dean and Alison. Hello.
Thanks, Jeff.
Hello.
Good to be here. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah. Well, you guys are always doing something. I do want to tell
yes,
Alison.
constantly. Yes.
Alison, I do want to say one thing, which has nothing to do with Little House, but from the
is there anything that has nothing to do with Little House? What
the old roads, all roads lead to Little House.
The first time Alison and I talked, we talked a little bit about her comedy because I'm a comedian, and so we went into a little about that. It's been my kind of obsession to find Here's Amy on vinyl.
Oh, yes. Did you?
I have not. I did finally find First Family on vinyl.
Yes.
And I have Rich Little sequel on vinyl, but yours is now my official white whale that I'm trying to find.
Oh, no. People have found it. It is easy out there. Well, first of all, I mean, if you really want, you can get a download or a CD of it. It's out there.
That's not the Hunt.
Oh, you don't want the Uproar, the new one, Uproar Records, where you can just go here, download.
Oh, that's no fun.
You want the vinyl. You want the hot vinyl from 1970. It is out there because people show up and have me sign them. There may be, there was at one time, I'll have to check, a small crate of the vinyl secreted away in the garage. Wow. I could get you one of those. But no, people do have
that
them.
Would count. I would accept an official signed version.
There you go, official signed one. They do pop up. People do show up at events and go, looky what I found. Now, you found the First Family. My mother was on the First Family album. For those who do not know, my mother was on the First Family album. She was the voice of Caroline and John when Von Meter was being JFK. And the famous cover of the First Family album, your parents all have it somewhere in their house. Go look. The First Family album, where they're standing in front of the White House, they're actually in Central Park. It's like cheesy, bad 1960s Photoshop. My mother is standing, what looks like the fairly young woman in knee socks with a balloon. You go, was she like 19 doing it? She's 40. That's my mother. There's a sequel. There's a second one. There's the First Family 2. And that's the rare one. Because like everybody bought it. It was the fastest selling album in Guinness Book of World Records, fastest selling album in history before, I think Thriller was the first thing to put it off the pedestal.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was a huge deal. My mother, she like went and taped this thing, and then she's like, they're like playing in the supermarket. She's like, what is happening? It just took off. And the second one, though, unfortunately was released days before JFK was killed. So, burp, ka-thunk. It's really funny. It has more songs on it. They do songs. It's very silly, but that was like, poof, it went away. So you had like biggest selling album ever, and then like 0 copies like the next. It just was like, horrible fate thing. But if you have First Family 2, you have the giant valuable collector's item.
Is that the one? Was that the same cast? Or I have one that Rich Little did. So that might have been.
Oh, no, that's later because Rich Little wasn't super famous yet. It was like 62.
We'll get to you.
Von Meter was the hot ticket.
Yeah, no worries. I'm getting some history here.
Right? Did you know that? This is totally Von Meter, who was doing JFK in his stand-up act. And so when these guys got together and decided to do a comedy album about the First Family, which had not been a thing before. You listen to it now, it is so soft and so tame by today's standards. They're not mean like at all. Yeah. But at the time it was like, oh, and you're going to talk about like the children and like, you can't do that. And then my mother had started doing like kids' voice. She was in radio and had done some stuff. But she did this, and then after that, that's why she became Casper and Gumby and Sweet Polly, Purebred and Davy.
Oh, wow. So that was the launching pad for all that.
Right. She could do anything she wanted after that. She was the chick from the First Family. So,
Wow.
Alison's mom's pretty famous. Dean.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I mean, some iconic characters that, from my youth, certainly. I mean, Casper and Gumby. It's like, oh, my God.
Oh, I'd watch the Saturday morning cartoons, and half of them were my mother. You get those books. There's books of like all the cartoon voice people, the magic. She's a whole chapter. It's like a whole thing. She's one of those people. She's but the First Family album. And I know, I mean, I was an infant when this was happening. So hello, how old do you have to be to have? But people do. If you go to your parents, or your uncles, or your grandparents' home and root around in the vinyl, I swear to you, they will have a copy of the first family.
I certainly remember there was a copy of it in our house growing up. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's an inspiration. I knew about it because I had interviewed some comedians, and it was like that was their inspiration, part of their comedy inspiration.
Who wrote it? Was it written by somebody? It had to have been written by some team.
I mean, I think they may have pulled some stuff from Von Meter because he was doing stuff about Kennedy then. But yeah, it was a whole set of sketches written. The big joke was none of the actors took the percentage. They said, this will never go. We know this from Little House. This will never go anywhere. What's this, a hit? You've got to be kidding. And same thing. And so they were offered a fee or a percentage. And everybody went, percentage? You're kidding me.
Yeah. Just take it up front.
They took the upfront money because they said the record label wasn't even going to sign them. And And so my mother said yes. And the gentleman who produced it, or I don't know, somewhere in the south of France with all everybody's money. And she said, and had I taken the percentage, you'd have gone to private school. What do you know? Who knew?
That's funny. That's great.
But yeah.
Wow.
But that's the thing. You don't know what's going to be the hit. And this is the great segue of all time. When we started on Little House on the Prairie, everyone in Hollywood said, what? Little House on the Michael Landon's making it. Why that show? Why does he want to do that? And people in Hollywood, New York, but I didn't watch that. They all secretly did. It, of course, turned into this mega hit that 51 years later, here we all are. And I guarantee you, if you'd asked anyone to take the bet in 1974, bet you $1 million this is a hit in 50 years. No, everyone would have lost except Michael.
I have my connection to this, or not connection, but my reaction to it. I sort of totally concur with everything you're saying. Now, I had not watched Little House before starting on it. I'd never seen a complete episode. But for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why Michael, who's this matinee idol guy, shoot him up, get every girl that he's that guy. What was the appeal for Michael of becoming a poor dirt farmer in Minnesota?
What?
It was like, why?
I get it. I get it. Guy was a genius.
Anything. Yeah. Why?
And dude was a genius. That's why.
Yeah. No, exactly. And when you see it, you understand. Once you get hooked on it, you understand why. But the optics of it in the very beginning, you look at that and say, why is he doing that?
And Paul was supposed to have a beard and not be that.
Oh, well, yeah. He was never going to do that. He did beard.
Plain fellow.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't to look like, but here's the thing. So Michael, there he is on Bonanza, and he's Little Joe, and he's the cute one. He's the young one. And the women love him, and they're throwing themselves off balconies at him. And so he's got all these girls. But he also does the math, because when he discovered the book, because what was it? Ed Friendly's daughter.
Ed Friendly delivered a script to him on a Sunday morning out of nowhere.
Knowing about these things. Yeah. So he knows, he checks around, he asks around, all the women are reading the Little House books. The daughters are all reading it. Everybody. So there's a generation of women who read the Little House books when they were little. And then when they were like teenagers, they all watched Bonanza and went, we love Little Joe. Now in 1974, they've all gotten married or having children. They're young moms. And they've got the books ready to give to their kids. And they love Laura Ingalls, and they love Little Joe. And oh no, Little Joe is here to deliver the series of their favorite thing in the whole world. And he's Pa. But wait, he's like hot, good looking Pa.
Yeah.
It was the most brilliant decision anyone has ever made.
Yeah, pretty stunning when you think about it. Jeff, when you got to know Michael, you realize these are the kinds of calculations that he would make. I don't think he made any decision lightly, particularly a decision like this. And I think then along with that, I think he absolutely connected with the kind of storytelling that he detected in the books. But I think he knew, coming back to Alison's point, that he knew that his audience would follow him here.
He's like,
very
my
clearly.
target audience. Yeah. And he was dead right. And that's the thing. Our biggest group of women in the early days, I would say women 40 plus, because they and I'm like, ding, 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 ding. So Michael didn't make any decisions like, oh gosh, let's try this and see.
Yeah, I wonder if. Yeah. He didn't do I wonder if.
He knew all the shots. He arrived in the morning and he had already done this. He knew exactly what he was going to film. It was like, okay, we're doing this scene and this scene. But he went, and I'm doing a master, and then I'm doing a close, and then 2-shot. But I'm not going to do the reverse, and I'm not doing this close, and I'm not doing
I
this
won't
2-shot.
use it. Right.
I don't need them because I'm just going to do this one, and then we're going to go to the next thing. And everyone said, wait, aren't you going to? No. Do you want coverage? No, I don't need coverage. All his decisions, he knew exactly what the heck he was doing.
I think the deal was that Michael knew he wasn't shooting for anyone else but himself. There was no executive above him that wanted to see all this coverage to be sure that they were covered. Michael trusted himself to know what the coverage needed to be. So editors had very few options when putting the show together. He cut the show in the camera and basically he gave them the clips that they needed, and they followed the director's or the script supervisor's notes, and out came the show. He was very, very efficient. You don't meet people with that kind of confidence generally, where he knew exactly what he was going to do, and he did just exactly what he believed was the right thing. And I never saw a moment's hesitation or doubt in his eyes ever. Nope. Crystal clear.
That's amazing. So it sounds like Michael had a firm understanding of math and biology.
That's the best way of putting it I've ever heard, but yes.
And then also a clear understanding of how to create something of artistic value. Because I mean, that's really, when you think about it, I mean, of all of the things, it's still that it holds up so well that it's still so strongly revered and rewatched, binge to this day, because it's so good.
Yeah. People talk about, when you talk to people who really understand this world, career longevity. I mean, Michael added to what I'm going to say by being a spectacular actor on camera. But what Michael had that separated him is that Michael could write, he could shoot, and he could edit. If you could write, shoot, and edit in this world, you were never going to stop working. And Michael never stopped working. He did it with such clarity. You didn't negotiate with Michael about how it was going to be done. When he said, this is how we're doing the scene, he gave them what he wanted to cut. They cut it. I mean, maybe you're playing with a frame or two in either direction on it, but he knew what he wanted to do.
Yeah. As an actor, I mean, you could say, can I try this? And he'd sort of look and go, all right, let's try this, because we got to run the thing and block the shot. Let's see what that looks like. And sometimes you go, oh, yeah, that's totally it. Yeah, sure, that's hilarious, great. Or other times you go, yeah, and if he didn't, it was just like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. Like, next, do the other thing. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
He said, and the casting, I mean, the chemistry, the actors, everyone has these stories about how they were cast on the spot. And I was the whole crazy thing. I came in, I didn't know there was a Nellie Oleson. I hadn't read the books. I'd read for the part of Laura and Mary. I had no clue. And I come in, and this girl is complete bitch. I turned to my father. I'm 12, and I went, bitch.
Something wrong with her.
And I was just something wrong with this person. And I go, and of course I read it, and he dies of laughter. And could you do it again? Just the thing about the house again. He and the other producers are just killing themselves over this thing. And we get home, and it's just not that far to our house at this point. We get home, and the agent's on the phone. That's it. He's called and said, okay, fine, how much? And they've got a deal, like on the spot. And everyone's auditions has these stories and going, are you available? Okay, next Tuesday. Okay, well, I'm done now. Occasions where he said, you have the job, and the other producers had to go, shh, we have to call their agent first. We haven't made a deal. But he knew who he wanted in the room at that moment, which, I mean, who does this?
I think people who are casting regularly know when they see the person that they want to hire. They know it. And, I think certainly in the beginning, we were all relatively inexperienced, I mean, with rare exception. Actors don't choose parts choose actors. And so he knew, and when someone comes in and delivers that thing, whatever that magical thing is that Alison delivered, as she stood up, my house is the best home, or my home is the best house. Was it house and home or home and house?
I think it was my home is the best home
house.
in Walnut Grove.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think it was my home.
I think it was my house is the best home in Walnut Grove. I think that's what it was. You think it's, you disagree?
I think it was my home. My home is the best.
My home
is the best
house.
But we had real lace curtains on all the windows. And
okay. Yeah. So yes. Okay. When she delivered this, I mean, when I watched it on the air for the first time, it's like, oh my God, that's killer. That's like, that is awesome. You can't take your eyes off of that. And you know exactly who this person is. You know exactly, you don't know exactly what she's going to do every time, but boy, you know the flavor she's playing with, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And that was the thing. It came to the audition. And as soon as I started, I opened my mouth. They're like, yes. And
yes,
that was
exactly.
Wait, did you have the thing? You said your audition, he started doing this stuff.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He's going to break out the camera.
And Dean,
yeah, I mean, he's got his hands up looking at me like this. I mean, I'm seeing him. He's sitting on the floor. I mean, Michael notoriously said he didn't want to get in your eye line as you were reading. So he sat on the floor reading across the table to the casting director. I distinctly remember, like, what does he think? I'm not aware of where he is. But out of the corner of my eye, I'm seeing this. I'm thinking, oh, my God. This is the coolest thing. You're reading the scene and he's framing you up in the shot and saying, how would this person be in our show? How would he look on our screen? How would she look? That's a really unforgettable, wonderful moment for a young actor to have.
But with you had to have the chemistry with Melissa. So there
was no chemistry read with Melissa.
Right.
No, see, Michael, Michael just picked. And she wasn't consulted. And, I don't know. I think if Melissa had been consulted, I never would have gotten the job. I don't think that she just wouldn't have gone there. But Michael, I'm grateful that she didn't have a say in the choice. And I got to be involved in this wonderful thing.
Hey. I didn't get to pick Percival. I mean, I got lucky. They picked Steve Tracy. I think if I'd seen the lineup, I would have they'd probably. But yeah, no, that's how it is. Was it in television in the 1970s? And this is your husband. And you.
Yeah, I mean, I think later on depending on what it was. Now, I'd done Judy Blume's Forever and before Little House. I did chemistry reads with Stephanie Zimbalist, who was playing the young girl. The female lead in this. And there were chemistry reads. People did that, but Michael didn't. Well, he did chemistry reads with the couple that were going to play John and Sarah Carter. He did do chemistry reads with them.
And even then, he'd made up his mind. I'm going to have you two do a chemistry read because I've already decided.
Yeah. But he just wanted to see how they would read together, how they would perform together. But yeah, he knew. I don't think there was multiple people.
Oh, no, there were like a bunch of people at this then.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's the way he worked. And I think that's the way, and he had the juice to say, this is who I want. And I'm sure the network, Joel Thurm at NBC was probably like throwing things across the room because he had no say in this. No, he had nothing to say about who was cast. I'm sure that was a point of contention for him. But Michael had the numbers, and the numbers said, yeah, we're going to do what Michael wants to do.
Was Joel Thurm part of?
Joel Thurm was the head of casting at NBC during those years.
Oh, so he would. Okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah, I mean, when I came into it, he wasn't before maybe, but when I was coming into it, he was the head of casting.
Yeah, I never read for network. There's a bunch of people who didn't. I remember. And then he would mess with their heads too, because I believe was it Karen who told her that they wanted her to do a screen test. And he said, nah, I gotta do that. It's scheduled. I got to go to this thing. Screen. No.
Famously, he said to Karen after she was done, literally, he was reading with her. He jumped up and said, send her to wardrobe. I mean, he made the decision right there.
And when they wanted her to do a screen test, he said, no, I'm going to interview. I'm going to ask you questions and they'll see what I saw and it'll be great and hire. But he said, we're not doing what they want. And he did this all the time. Yeah. They said they want that, but
they don't need that.
Yeah, they don't need that.
I know what I need. Yeah.
It was this sort of thing did not go on in the 70s. You hear about these sort of people who do this now. I don't think that was a thing in 1974 or 384. That someone who was known primarily as an actor, who, yes, had learned to direct on Bonanza, would say, I am now all king of what I survey, and I'm even going to tell the network that I don't care. I don't know who else did that. Maybe on a film, a movie. I never heard of it on a TV show, but you're right. That's Michael Landon did that. He 100% did that.
Michael was a rare quadruple threat. He was the star. He was the executive producer. He was the lead writer. He was the lead director. That's a position, and to do them all on the level that he did them on for as long as he did it, consistently, excellently well, is a real rarity. I mean, he earned his right to make these decisions. He was really irresistible. I mean, you just couldn't, no one was going to say no to him. Just wasn't going to happen.
You ever meet someone and you go, oh God, this guy thinks he knows everything and could do anything, and then he can
and
pull
he
it off, and then he can, and you go, yeah, he thinks he could do
He did
anything,
know
but then
everything.
he
Yeah.
actually can. So what do we say now? Yeah,
Yeah, he was remarkable. He really was remarkable.
Did it ruin it for every other experience you had after Little House on the Prairie?
Well, there was nothing else like that for sure.
Kind
I don't
of.
know, Alison, what do you think?
A little. I know it did for a bit. Many people were shocked. They didn't have like a lot of experience before, or stunned at what things were like that weren't Little House on the Prairie. I know I've infamously talked about my Fantasy Island experience. And to be fair, it was like right after the strike, and they were like shooting 2 episodes at the same time. It was chaos. The whole thing was chaos.
Sure, of course.
And I was just like, well, this is a nightmare. What am I doing here? Love Boat was pleasant, much more pleasant, but nobody was doing what we're doing the show. People took forever to do things. They didn't know what they wanted. Things were disorganized. I was like, oh no. And I heard from the mom of our darling twins, who Wendy and Brenda, who were baby Grace. She said, oh yeah, she wasn't sure, like, well, are they going to be child actors? I don't know. They had a good run as baby Grace. She said one commercial, and said, we're done. Because she said the way they were treated as children and the way it was shot and the way they were treated and the schedule and the disorganization, etc. She said, oh, this is how it is on most sets. And this is like a real drag. I'm not going to put my kids through this, or myself. Why am I doing this? This isn't like Little House. And the number of people who said they worked on other shows. I mean, during the show, I remember having actors say, you guys have no idea. I just came from another set. This is like, people don't treat each other like this. This is like great. You guys are in some weird bubble because it's not like that over there.
Michael was the ultimate alpha male. He really, truly was. Whatever Michael said was the way it was going to go, and it always worked out. And even if conditions arose where you had to pivot and do something else because of weather, because of whatever, Michael could pivot, and plan B was as good or better than plan A. There was just, he was really, and look, Jeff, he had a secret weapon in his producer, Kent McRae, who had come up in live television, had done the Bob Hope specials and the war specials. I mean, Kent had taken crews all over the world in the most demanding circumstances and always made it work out. Kent was a genius. They met on Bonanza. Michael tested Kent right up front to find out what kind of guy he was. Kent passed that test like crystal clear. And Michael, they were joined at the hip. And that relationship was, I think, professionally, the most sustaining relationship of Michael's life. Kent was Michael's secret weapon, and they trusted each other totally. It was a dream relationship.
You look at it, I mean, we're talking about the guy, you think was some mad dictator, but wait, the whole crew who worked on Bonanza, all of them, the key grip and the best boy and the electrical people and hair people, and make all of these people who worked, all got up and followed him over to work on Little House. And then if they were still like not retirement age, they went and worked on Highway to Heaven. And so it's like, okay, if he was awful, these guys were known in the business. They've been on multiple shows as electricians and grips and scene people and makeup. They could go work anywhere they wanted. They also, many of them had made enough money to retire and continue to work because they wanted to go work for Michael Landon. So, as I said, it can't be that awful, because this whole army of people went, sure, I'll go work for this guy again.
I mean, anybody in your audience who doesn't know who Michael Landon is, they just need to go to IMDb or any number of other places and look him up. And, you get it if they haven't watched Bonanza or Little House, you get a sense of who Michael was right away, just taking a look at him. I mean, I always thought, Alison, that if there was a picture in the dictionary next to the definition of big time television star, it would have been Michael's picture. Michael radiated a kind of matinee idol vibe that was, you just couldn't take your eyes off of it. He had magnetism.
We're terrible. We're terrible, Jeff. I don't know if you have any questions, but seriously, Michael is the guy who would walk into the room and you'd say the 10,000 watt smile. He'd walk in the room.
Yes, incredible.
And who might this person be? It's there was no getting around. I don't know. Did you have questions? We're terrible because we could do this all day. We could.
They said, why do you want Dean and Alison on the show again? I said, because all I have to do is say hello.
Well, I always feel that way about I mean, Alison and I can sometimes fight for the floor, but we always get something done.
Game recognizes game. We let
Well, let me ask you. So how is the 50th podcast going? I know that this.
Oh my
I see
God,
the episodes are still dropping. So have you interviewed anyone from the show that's all of a sudden been like, "Hey, I want to be hardcore Little House like you guys"? I would consider you guys sort of the spokespeople for Little House. You know what I mean? Like you guys are like the faces.
Yeah,
I think.
I mean, I don't know about that. I think that people are pretty. Look, Patrick Laberteau has his Patrick Labner show, which is
awesome.
So Patrick touches on a lot of different things. We really live in the Little House space. Patrick touches on a lot of different things. He's awesome. He's a wonderful host, great writer, cuts a beautiful podcast together. He's really wonderfully talented. I mean, I think Patrick is spectacular. We really have stepped into this Little House space just because we were inspired by the fact that we had a 50th anniversary coming up. I just said, Alison, we were in Missouri somewhere, in Tennessee. We're riding in some limousine. And I said, Alison, we need to do something for the 50th anniversary. Would you do this? Can we do this together? And, she said yes. And we both realized we needed somebody who could run herd over us, someone who could be like the voice of control. And so we reached out to Pamela Bob, who Alison worked with her on her Living on a Prairie web series. I had gotten involved when she was debuting that series just to support her, loved her. Pamela just became the absolute clear choice to be the host of our program.
No, that's awesome. But what I mean is like, because I think you guys, whenever I see anything Little House, I mean, there's other people that go, but you guys are like, I think even like this new documentary, you guys are the main faces. So,
I think we are. Well, yeah, we've had people, more people want to come to stuff. I think because we had Charles Bloom on, we had Pearly Day, and then we wound up doing the live podcast in New York and said, "Hey, so you want to come to this?" He goes, "Come to it. I'm writing a song for it. I'm in." So I think we've inspired people to do more. I know. Well, since Karen's been on her, Karen now is like Karen Grassley was small. It's like, oh, I should come to that. I should come to this. What are you guys doing? So I think it's definitely inspired some people to go, "What are you people all doing? There's a thing. Can I get in on that too?" And so, which is great because we're like, yes, come join us. Yeah, I guess Dean and I were just kind of willing. There's a lot of stuff to do. If you want to have events, you want to have a podcast, you want to be the face of the brand. Is that what we're doing? I guess we are.
I think we're one of the faces of the brand.
Yeah. If you're absolutely out there and doing it's a lot. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff to do. A lot of paperwork and things and time spent. At some point, we decided we liked that sort of thing and said, yeah, we'll do that. Not everybody wants to do that.
Yeah, no, I think we are fully vested in this. I think we have both, on perhaps in different ways, but very complementary ways, we have both seen the value in this that reaches beyond what we did, that touches audiences in this really wonderful way. And when you see that and you feel that, we both want to be attached to that. We want to nurture that and do our best to take care of it. So that's been the motivation. It's been, audiences have been so wonderful to us, and we want to be wonderful to them. We want to create immersive experiences for them and have them know that they're dealing with people who really love what they did and appreciate them. And it's been a mutual admiration society between all of us together and connecting with people who love the program. It's really been great.
Well, I mean, there was a phase for all of us, like right after the show, where we said, well, that was interesting. Now we'll all move on. We'll go on with our lives. They'll talk about something else. And that didn't happen. People were still massively obsessed with the show. And it got more so. I mean, right after the show, I thought, it's settling down. And then, the VHS came out. And then the DVD came out. And then, they're streaming. And now it's like, oh my God, it is so not going away. I mean, here we are, 51. And the pandemic just blew it up. People were like, let's see how they survived and tuned in. It turned into a thing. And I'm kind of like, well, the train is a running. I guess I should be on it. It's can't beat 'em, join 'em. And I thought, well, this is a thing that's happening. And it's a good thing. It's a nice thing. Like if it were,
it is a really nice thing.
If we're a terrible show or I wasn't proud of what I did, then it would be like awful. It would be like, that thing.
No, but that would be terrible.
No, it's a good show and I had fun doing it. So I'm like, okay, I can get on board that. Let's do it.
Yeah. I completely agree with that logic. It's everyone. Yes, you want to find that whatever as actors, you want to find that next thing. And we all did other things. No question about that. We all did other things, but this kept bouncing back. This kept resurfacing. People kept wanting to know more about it. And that was, at least in my experience, that was unusual. And when you feel that, we said, I think we all, those of us who stepped in, Alison and I in particular, said, we're going to be a part of this because people want to know and we want to take care of that.
Well, you have the books, you have the show, you have the legend of Laura, and just people,
which is a great story. Yeah. I mean, this is one of Laura's story is a story of I think it's a story of female empowerment. I mean, Laura was really, truly, a prairie feminist. She lived in this very particular world. She lived in it in a very respectful way, but make no mistake, Laura was a very strong, dedicated, self-empowered person. I mean, I love the way she wrote, and we've talked about this a lot. I love the way she wrote when they made the decision when she and Almanzo were going to get married. And we didn't do this in the show, but in the books, Laura says to Almanzo before they get married, asks him a question. It was more of a statement, but framed in the form of a question. You don't expect me to say obey, do you? Because I am not going to obey. I'm never going to obey anybody all the time. So, I thought this was an incredibly empowered woman. When he asked her to marry him, she says, he asked her, would you be interested in taking a ring? And let's see, how did it go? Would you be willing to take a ring? That would depend on who's offering it. Well, what if it was me? Well, then it would depend on the ring.
Ooh, she was hard.
At 18. Now, look, she was an older woman when she wrote this, but I love the sense of free agency and determination that she wrote into this character. Laura was not a shrinking violet. Laura wasn't just going along with the program. Laura knew she made choices. She made choices pragmatically and in a way where she believed could be successful doing what she was doing. I mean, I don't know whether it's success but this was the right circumstance for her. And she wasn't afraid to ask for what she wanted. What a great thing. What a great lesson for young women in any age to learn that they can ask for what they want.
And Almanzo was a catch because he said, oh, no, I don't want to.
We had great horses. Almanzo had the hot horses.
He was cute. He had great horses. She was more in love with the horses. But he said,
definitely it was the horses.
Don't downplay that.
And he's like, oh, I already talked to the Reverend Brown. Oh, no, he's one of these reverends who doesn't do obey in his ceremony. He was like a progressive reverend at the time, whatever. And so it was like, oh, yeah, they were like, but remember, okay, so this was happening in the 1800s. Oh, my God. These books came out in the 1930s. To have a book out in the 1930s where the young couples go, we don't do that obey stuff here. That's a big deal. And she put that in. So, and then she wrote for the farm papers and
the Missouri Ruralist. She wrote for the Missouri Ruralist and she wrote other serialized things. Her daughter Rose really led her into writing.
The 1910s and the 20s. And she talked and because they're talking about women getting the vote and she talks about women working. She goes, well, women have always worked. What are you talking about? And she says something about a horse will kick down its stall if it's not given anything to do or any activity. And that, of course, women must work. I mean, this is Laura Ingalls. And then you talk about Rose. That's like a whole, that's a strong 3-picture movie trilogy, that woman. But and I think that's what made it interesting is you had this sort of old-fashioned show, and yes, we're all in bonnets, and isn't it adorable? But Laura's not, she's no 50s housewife. She's Laura Ingalls Wilder.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's why look, it's an interesting contrast to hear women doing stories about the empowerment of women wearing bonnets and long dresses. I mean, it was an interesting kind of contrast to have. But nonetheless, the themes that were explored in the program and in the books, this was really one of the first times in American publishing that a young girl was the hero of a story. It was accepted that way in the Depression because publishers, Harper and Brothers, believed that young people would be inspired reading stories about a young girl in a family that was struggling.
surviving
survive.
against all odds thing.
Yeah, this was a time for that story, and they were so right. It just took off. And as America was descending into the depths of the Great Depression.
And then, of course, when does our show happen? Oh, 1974. Anyone remember gas rationing and with inflation now? Everybody was starving. We were having a giant recession and nobody had any food. And suddenly we have the TV show of the books that came out in the Depression. It's like ding, ding, ding.
And the month before the series premiered, Richard Nixon resigned from the White House. And the country, this is really interesting. I mean, what Alison's saying about about gas lines and all that is true. And the country was in a state of crisis at that point. We had never seen a president do the things that Richard Nixon did. Through the country, we were disillusioned by all that. And here comes Little House on the Prairie with values and morals and love and community and a family that functions and people who tell each other they love each other and treat each other with respect. And there is consequence for people who don't. And this was really powerful stuff to come along in the 1970s. And I think those themes, I don't know that there's been a time in our modern history that feels more conflicted on those kinds of issues than we're in right now. And so Little House continues to be this source of stability for people where core values are being celebrated in the program and audiences keep finding it, I think, for that reason.
It was there for everybody in the pandemic. Suddenly they all start tuning in going, hey, wait, they survived worse than this.
Yes, we'll get through this. Exactly. Yeah.
So flash forward almost 50 years later, the seedlings for Little House Homecoming, new documentary that you guys introduce and are a part of, or at least
we're co-producers. Alison and I are co-producers of the documentary. Karen Grassley is a co-producer. Charlotte Stewart is a co-producer. We are all involved in this. I met Jonathan Parker, the director producer of this, when he was referred to me. I called him, we had a conversation, and he told me that he was making this movie to honor his daughter, who was then 11 years old, his daughter, Anna.
Perfect age.
She loved the Little House books. She loved the series. She was a full-on bonnet head. I mean, all in bonnet head. And Jonathan wanted to make something that would honor this commitment at this time in her life, believing, and I think he's right, believing that this time that she was in was defining who she was going to be in her life. And he wanted to celebrate that with her. And so when he told me that story, I just said, I'm completely in with you on this. I believe in what you're trying to do. And that was another, picked up the phone, I called Alison. You need to be a part of this. This is really good. This honors everything that we've done. And it honors the way people have felt about it going back since the books were published in the 1930s. The book is as Alison has said, the book is a love letter to the audience. It's also Jonathan's love letter to his daughter, honoring her. It's a wonderful merging of love and commitment to something that's bigger than all of us. That reflects on being human.
If you love our show and you love the books and you love the history of Laura and your friends think you're weird and you think no one understands you, you go watch this documentary and go, yes.
They all get me. They get me.
They get me. And there are others.
Yeah. It's a community. It's real.
And it's all over the world. There are these people who have connected. And like during the pandemic, the number of people became friends. When I was reading the books, these people who connected over Little House on the Prairie. Hi, I'm stuck in my home. I'm stuck in my home at the other ends of the country, other ends of the world. And they started talking to each other about Little House on the Prairie. So, I mean, this absolutely is a community. And you see this in the film. They talk to people. Well, why? Why are you hanging out at these historical sites? Why are you into the show? What does this mean? And they explain it. I think it's also good for people to watch who say, what on earth is going on? These people are still following you guys 50 years later. What the heck is that all about? Go watch this documentary and you'll see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yes, it captures the phenomenon.
It does. Yes. There's nothing controversial about this documentary. It is really, truly a love letter for people who get it. It's wise men wink when they meet on the street. You know, they
It
just
could,
will.
know.
it could have used a little controversy. You could have just put some in, like just cut to you
Something
and go.
crazy.
Well, we
"Was
had
Alison
no
drunk? Is Alison
editorial
drunk?"
control here. This is
We
Jonathan's
liked
movie.
it that way.
Again, Jonathan made this for his 11-year-old daughter. He didn't want controversy.
I know.
Well, our biggest controversy we have is I talk about in my stand-up act. I go, the big question that is just tearing the place apart is, will the Netflix new Little House be good or not? This is, everybody's losing
Yeah,
their
what's going
tiny
on
little
with that?
minds. No, of course there can be another show. What the heck?
No,
It's
when is
not
it coming out?
They're not. I don't know, when is this thing? They're
They haven't
not
announced
ripping
it
off
yet.
our show.
26,
It's-
second
yeah.
quarter, probably.
It's not like, it's not a redo. It's not a reboot. It's a whole other thing. We're going to take the books and